So today we are in the October throwback rotation for Shadowverse. So let's go ahead and talk about basically how I feel. Personally, this is arguably my favorite rotation of all time. The reason I say that is because I feel like in this rotation there's a lot more variety as far as decks that can actually have a chance to do something in this rotation more than any other. Every class that I've either used or played against has a solid chance of winning. Now, granted, there are some decks that are clearly stronger than others, but I feel like with any class at this point in this rotation, if you get the right set of cards at the right time, you can even beat the deck that's actually better than yours. That's why I think this is probably the most balanced and best rotation, at least for me personally. So let's take a look at some of the decks that I played in this rotation. Now, I was able to play all of my favorites as far as like my main three, Dragon, Portal, and Haven. But on top of that, I got to play a little bit of Forest as well. So let's take a look at what I played for Dragon. For starters, I was playing the Buff Dragon. I believe this is the first iteration of Buff Dragon. Lots and lots of fun. I like the voice acting that's on a lot of these cards. I like the way the deck synergizes. This is one of those decks that if you get the right set of cards, you can beat any deck in the meta. Seriously, and I'll be honest, the strongest class right now is probably Blood. I might be a little bit off on that, but I would say that even against Handless Blood, if this has the right setup, you can easily win. That's just how good it is. Now, obviously, you have to get the right cards and stuff, but it can win, and that's kind of why I like this so much. I think it's the only Dragon deck that I'm playing right now. In terms of Haven, I would say this is a Ward Hayden list that I'm currently playing. It's fun. I would say that it's not nearly as consistent as Dragon or even Portal. But I think that if you get the right set of cards, you could potentially do well. I would just say that even if you have the right set of cards, it's not going to guarantee you the win. I think that's kind of the difference. But, if the opponent you're playing against is having a rough start, this can get you there. As far as another Haven deck I was playing, I think I was playing. Oh, this is a mostly a deck around Iris, where the idea is to get her out, evolve her, get the amulets come out, and then they combine to form Aegis. And kind of the combo that I have going with that is using this guy. Basically, whenever you're healing, everybody in the party gets a +1/+1 buff, which could also buff Aegis. So that's kind of a fun little thing. This is not necessarily a meta deck or anything like that. This is more of just a fun deck. But I've gotten a few wins with this. It's definitely possible. And then Portal, I'd say the deck that I'm winning the most with is an artifact list. Now, I am running Calamity in it, but it's not really the main win condition. It's just kind of a side win condition in case we get there. But most of the time, I'm just winning because of artifacts and then finishing them off with this. That's basically how you win in that matchup. But this is a lot of fun. You're basically trying to get a bunch of paradigm shifts and, get the cost down as much as you can, play the artifacts. And basically, you're trying to get the number of different artifacts played as much as possible so that you can get some value. If you get 6, basically, you're getting a lot of value out of a lot of these cards here. But this is another one of those decks where if you get a good start, you can beat pretty much any deck in the format as well. Although I will say that this deck probably struggles a little bit more against Blood than Dragon does. But I still think that this is a pretty good set of cards. Another deck I was playing in Portal was this deck right here. I was playing specifically for Calamity, but it's not good, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. There's a lot of things I gotta do, and there's a much better list out there. So I'm just gonna skip this. Um, Let me see what this is. This is kind of the same thing, except I'm playing a more of a hybrid of artifacts that cost things that cost five that put artifacts into play. Again, more of a fun deck. But let's go ahead and jump over the forest. Now, in Force, you have the deck that basically has the combination of this Aria as a win condition, plus, well, that's pretty much it, really. That's the main win condition is just chipping them down, and little by little, it's decent. I know that there was a time where this was actually like super duper meta, but I think that after like the mini expansion, it wasn't as strong as it once was because other classes just got better. But I still think this class is a lot of fun. Oh, and it also runs Sekka as another win condition as well to kind of finish them off. Pretty fun. It's not as consistent as I'd like it to be. This is one of those decks where you have to have specific cards on specific turns, otherwise it kind of falls apart. But it is a fun deck. The other deck that I'm playing that I actually think is a lot more fun because it requires a lot less luck is an evolve version, where basically you're just trying to get a bunch of free evolves. Like this is a free evolve. This can be a free evolve. This gives you a free evolve. This can give you an extra evolution point. And then you have cards that benefit off of you evolving, like this guy to be a finisher, this to kind of help do some removal, give you some heal, give you some draw, basically to stabilize. I would say this deck is a little more consistent, but it's not really a strong deck. So, it's kind of one of those things where I can get a few wins off of it, but it's not as easy. But like I said, all of these classes that I'm playing, there are decks I just enjoy playing. They all get me a few wins at the very least. And even the classes that I'm not playing, like Sword and Blood and Shadow, those are all super strong. Like they can all do some good damage. With the right draws, they can all be very successful as well. But yeah, I do think that Handless Blood is probably the number one deck, in my opinion. It's pretty good. Yeah, Soldier's pretty good too. Or yeah, Soldier's a good one as well. But yeah, no complaints here. Again, this is probably my favorite rotation of all time. Just so much fun. This brought back a lot of good memories, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Until next time, we'll see you on. Just keep gaming, and we'll see you in a later episode.